Have you ever tried to convince somebody to lend you money or invest in an idea and the answer you got was a no? I'm going to explain to you guys how to ensure a yes by teaching you how to create an investor deck for a startup business. Not everyone in this audience will be starting their own business, but this information will be valuable to everyone because we'll all be eventually having to apply for loans or something of that sort in the future. I'm an entrepreneurship student and have spent the past 8 months creating a business plan and an investor deck for a startup business that my team and I are working on called Gojo. We will be pitching our investor deck to real investors in April during the Top Dog New Venture Championship. The 5 general parts of the deck that I'll be discussing are the goals within the environment and chosen customer segments, the value proposition, the product being offered and how the business will generate revenues from it, key partners and risk associated with competition, and the business's progress and financial projections. Now that we've talked about what we're going to be discussing, I'll go to the first point, which is the goals within the environment and chosen customer segments. During this section, you will clearly state the purpose of the business, the type of business operation, distribution, retail, manufacturing, service, and customers. Basically, why the business opportunity is significant. Describe the market and market segments for your product or service, and when discussing the environment, you must include the size of the total addressable market, the growth of this market, and the trends in the market. Then you will classify customers into different segments according to similar characteristics. Once this is done, you can explain which segments will be targeted first and your strategy to reach these segments. The Entrepreneur website says that in order to do this efficiently, you must look closely at the targeted segments and identify their needs, their influencers, the trends, loyalty, decision-making, and the size of the market. Make sure these customer segments have important needs that are currently not being addressed in the market, and make sure to back up your argument with the aforementioned facts. Now that we've talked about the first point, we'll go to the second point, which is the value proposition. During this, you'll describe the customer pain and need for your solution, and you'll back up your argument by including research data indicating the consumer and market demand. Define the magnitude and seriousness or cost of problem, and project the measurable benefit provided by your solution. This is basically a clear statement of the company's reason for being, and how you will satisfy the unmet needs of your customers. Then we'll be moving on to the product being offered and how to generate revenues. Provide a more detailed and technical explanation for your solution and give meaningful indications that customers desire your solution. Venture Beast suggests keeping the description of the product very simplistic, and in order to do this, you must sell the benefits, not the features. Explain how your products work, how your product works, how it can be deployed, and how it can resist duplication or imitation. You will also describe the stage of development and the market response to the prototype. And most importantly, in this section, you will state the IP protection status and the strategy for maintaining proprietary information and your competitive edge. Pricing strategy is another important part of this section. You will need to discuss how you will sell your product to customers and how you will reach your customers through promotion, advertising, and press. This all boils down to the main part of the business. How will you generate revenues? You should state the specific product will produce streams of revenue for your business, how you will charge for the product, and how frequently will the customer buy your product after it's been bought once. Will they come back and buy it again? And now that we've discussed that part, we'll move to the next point, which is key partners and risk associated with competition. When discussing your key partners, you will talk about the talent and skills that you require to start and grow your business, who will be providing that skill set, and what credentials make them well suited for these tasks. Tell your possible investors who you need to join the team now, who will be needed in the next few years, and who will be filling the executive roles in your business. You must list direct competitors and substitutes for your product. When describing your risks, focus on how your product contrasts to competitors and substitutes. According to Forbes, a chart is a very good visual to use in order to highlight the most relevant purchase decision factors. The next point is the final point, which is progress and financial projections. Now it is time to highlight the achievements that have already occurred and what is needed to move forward. We will define key milestones and a timeline for the next year and identify when significant events or achievements are expected. Summarize your efforts to attain these goals and explain how your success will be measured. Include status at year end and anticipated next steps. This brings us to the financials, the most important topic of discussion for investors, according to Script Magazine. You will need to state how much funding is needed for a business to launch, how the money will be spent, and which funds are secured and which are being pursued, and your preferred method for obtaining these needed funds. A projected cash basis income statement for the first year or until break-even is achieved will need to be prepared in order to provide credible estimates for your financial needs and to let the investors know how and when the owners will get a return on their investment. I have described what is needed to accomplish all 5 parts of the investor deck: goals within environment and chosen customer segments, the value proposition, the product being offered and how the business will generate revenues from it, key partners and risk associated with competition, and the business's progress and financial projections. I hope that with this information you will be able to present your case properly and efficiently when requesting for any monetary investment so that you and your presented investment can be deemed credible. Thank you.